Welcome back once again to Tales of Two Rocks.
Welcome back once again. Last week left with a bit of a cliffhanger, but today all questions will be answered.
Port Moesia.
Yes.
What made this place so important? Why did it become such a turning point?
Port Moesia. It wasn't just a city. Imagine bustling markets, right? Exotic goods everywhere, beautiful tapestries, stories of their heroes woven into them, and the music, a constant hum of life of a proud people.
And the ships?
Yes. The elven fleet, masterpieces, each one imbued with magic. It was part of them,
Yeah.
as much a part of their culture as the forests themselves.
This wasn't just a navy, it was a statement.
Exactly. A testament to their mastery over nature and magic. These ships, they sailed with such grace, such power. It made them a force to be reckoned with.
The orcs, though, they wouldn't just see beauty in those ships, they'd see a threat.
Of course. A threat that needed to be neutralized.
And instead of raids, skirmishes, they go all in. A full-blown siege.
They knew what they were doing. Don't underestimate the orcs. They understood the importance of Port Moesia.
So how did they pull it off, taking on a city like that? A city interwoven with magic.
They planned. They studied. They were methodical. It wasn't their usual smash and grab. This was different. They learned the elves' defenses, their tactics, even the flow of magic through the city itself.
They adapted.
They had to. This wasn't just brute force. It was calculated.
But how do you fight magic? Especially for the orcs, they were all about brute strength.
We don't have all the answers. The sources are pretty fragmented. But there are hints. Siege weapons designed to disrupt the flow of magic. Imagine that.
Wow.
Specialized units. Their armor made from materials resistant to elven enchantments. Brutal, but effective.
It sounds like the kind of fight that would scar both sides, even the victors.
Oh, absolutely. The fall of Port Moesia, it was a slow, agonizing defeat. You can almost hear the city falling silent, the markets empty, the music replaced by the clash of weapons, a chilling testament to what conflict can do, even to a civilization as deeply rooted as the elves.
The end of an era.
Indeed. It's cultural trauma.
Cultural trauma.
It goes way beyond physical destruction. The impact of something like this invasion, it echoes through generations.
And for the dwarves, well, losing Mount Urzel, that was like losing a part of themselves, right?
Exactly.
It wasn't just any mountain.
No, not at all. It was their foundation, their bedrock. Everything stemmed from Mount Urzel.
Their craftsmanship, the Urzalite.
Exactly. The craftsmanship, the Urzalite. But when the mountain fell, they weren't just driven out. They were stripped of their history, their security, everything they knew.
It's hard to imagine that kind of loss, especially for a people known for their toughness.
Absolutely.
The dwarves, these amazing artisans, builders, forced to become nomads.
A tragic turn of events. Picture this. A unified people, known for these intricate cities built into the heart of the mountain, now scattered, fragmented.
And their skills, the skills they honed over generations, now used just to survive.
Right. A cruel twist of fate. The psychological impact must have been immense. But even in the devastation, they held on to their traditions, their stories.
Like a flicker of light in the darkness. More than just stories, though, right? They were a lifeline.
Exactly. Whispered tales of their ancestors, of Mount Urzel in its prime. It wasn't nostalgia, it was defiance.
Fueled by a hope that maybe one day they could reclaim what was lost.
Exactly.
The elves, though, they faced a different kind of devastation. Their connection to magic and nature, that wasn't just a practice, it was who they were.
Right.
To have that targeted, used against them.
The orcs, they recognized the power of that connection, the power the elves had with the natural world.
So instead of living in harmony with the forest, their magic part of it,
they weaponized it, hunted down elven magic users, enslaved them, forced them to use their powers for the orc regime.
Their magic, the very essence of their being, twisted into a tool of oppression. How did they escape that?
Some found refuge. Hidden enclaves, their cities abandoned, their lives upturned, the fear, the constant threat.
It's unimaginable.
And yet, even in those dark places, they found ways to keep their culture alive.
Holding on to hope in the shadows. The dwarves scattered, clinging to their heritage. The elves driven into hiding, their magic tainted. Two proud cultures brought low. But it doesn't end there, does it? Their losses, they had a ripple effect.
A tapestry. Imagine that. Two vibrant threads suddenly cut. The entire fabric starts to unravel.
And that's what happened to the balance of power in the region.
The world shifted.
Yeah.
A fall of the dwarves and the elves. It wasn't just their tragedy. It echoed outwards, reshaping everything.
The whole world felt it. It makes you think, what did we lose when the dwarves were scattered?
It's hard to even grasp, isn't
That
it?
craftsmanship. What amazing things did they know how to build that are just gone now?
Exactly. And the elves, songs, rituals, knowledge of the natural world, gone. We had these little pieces, glimpses of what was.
Like a faded tapestry, you said it before.
Yeah.
But there's still something there.
Always.
That resilience. The dwarves and the elves, they might have been broken, but they never gave up.
Never.
Their craftsmanship, the core of who they were, they adapted.
They had to. For the dwarves, their skills, their artistry, it became their currency, a way to survive.
Imagine that, going from building these incredible cities to trading your skills for food, for safety.
A testament to their spirit. And the elves, their connection to nature, to magic, that didn't disappear.
How could it? It was so much a part of them.
It became even more precious, more powerful in a way. Imagine hidden rituals, their magic woven into everyday life. It was an act of defiance.
The orcs might have taken their world, but they couldn't touch that inner strength. It makes you wonder, though, could it have been different?
What do you mean?
The invasion? Could it have been stopped? Could the dwarves, the elves, have changed their fate?
The big questions. People have debated that for centuries. Some say the dwarves, they were too secure, their mountain, their craftsmanship, it made them proud.
They didn't see the threat coming.
Or didn't take it seriously enough. And the elves, so in tune with nature, maybe they just couldn't believe such brutality was possible.
A blindness to the darkness that was coming.
Perhaps. It's a reminder that even the strongest, the most in tune with the world, can fall.
There's a lesson there.
Many, I'd say. The importance of unity, of seeing the dangers even when they seem impossible, of adapting.
And never letting go of hope.
Exactly. The dwarves and the elves, their story, it's tragic. But it also shows us the strength of spirit, the will to survive. And maybe, just maybe, it reminds us that even in the darkest times, culture, hope, it can endure.
And that's a powerful note to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us, everyone. See you next time on Tales of Two Rocks.